Raz hit. You locked in with the star treatment. Follow movement at the Star Treat DC. Again. That's at the Star Treat DC. Stay royal. Elite Nation. Raz hit. Raz hit. Raz hit. Raz hit. Raz hit.
City breathing after dark, leaving our exclusive mark. Tune in for the final scene. Yeah, you know just what I mean. The Star Treatment, late night edition. Ooh, yeah. City breathing after dark, leaving our exclusive mark. Tune in for the final scene. Yeah, you know just what I mean. The Star Treatment, late night edition.
Hi, how y'all doing out there, man? This is the Star Treatment Late Night Edition. It's a show all about the Dallas Cowboys, but at late night, all right? We're going to be doing this from time to time, man. I'm glad to be back in the studio recording. I got a lot of good content for you. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook at The Star Treatment, all right? That's The Star Treatment, all right? Elite Lux, deep dive, content, information, everything Cowboys, man. We doing it here in the Lux way for Cowboy Nation. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at The Star Treat DC. All right. The Star Treat DC. That's The Star Treat DC. All right. And then throw the hashtag in there for late night, man. If you want to jump in on social media, just hashtag Star Treatment LN for late night. That's hashtag Star Treatment LN for late night. All right. All right. So we're gonna talk about post June. It's a post-June Cowboys special, all right? We're going to talk about some of the breaking news that happened today. The big one, the bombshell, was Myles Garrett being traded to the L.A. Rams. And not to Dallas. And I don't even know if they jumped on the phone, gave a phone call, checked in, whatever. But I know, I think it was like a first and Jared I forget the guy name. The defensive end for the Los Angeles Rams got traded in that trade. I'll give you details. I know I got it here. So I'll give detail and context on that as well. Again, very thankful to be bringing you a show. Check out our last stream where we did a real deep dive on everything from last year to the off season and to where we at right now. We got a couple of special guest shows coming up, and I'll give you some nuggets on that as we get close to the end, because I want to take some time to give them not only shout outs and their due respect, because they're streamers and journalists and folks as close to the Cowboys that got their ear to what's going on at Valley Ranch in a big way, and always covering and putting good content out there for Cowboy fans to watch, enjoy, follow, and share, and all those good things that folks do when they like interaction and like content on the social media. All right. Again, make sure you follow us. Look at the red stream bulletin stream at the bottom. It's the Star Treatment Podcast, everything elite about the Dallas Cowboys and more. Follow the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and Twitter X at the Star Treat DC. All right, help us grow by liking, sharing, and interacting with us. And you can do that in the chat right now. We got the live chat going on, so you can just jump right in there no matter what platform you're on, whether you're on Twitter X, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Facebook, or whether you're on YouTube. We streaming all those, and you can jump right in. Right now, we're streaming through the podcast that we do, me and my man, DC Dane. We stream on the podcast called Give and Take Sports Talk, and right now we're streaming through there. We got to hit a certain amount of followers before we can start streaming live from our social medias, and we will do that as soon as we hit that mark. And you can, like I said, again, you can help us grow. All we need to do is hit that 1K, and we just started doing the stream over the weekend and building accounts and things like that. So it's going to take a little time, but hopefully it don't take that much time for us to stream through our social networks that's dedicated to the Star Treatment. All right. So let's talk about it. All right. So we got a couple of segments where we're going to get into post June 1, explain what happened today with Myles Garrett. That was a bombshell. We're going to talk about some possible trades and look at what's out there as far as, who you can sign. What's the best free agent that's still out there on the street, man. We got the top 10 for you to hear. And if you feel the need and want to share some feedback or knowledge or your take, you can also, like I said, jump in the live chat or hit us on the social medias, and we'll shout you out as well. All right, maybe let's talk about the Cowboys' impact, man. Should they or will they, sign somebody else to fill some areas on the team that can make them feel stronger going into the season? Maybe you have some concerns about maybe somebody get injured. You want to bring somebody in that'll be able to step in. With the coaching staff and what's been going on around OTAs, you got some buzzes from standouts and then maybe some folks that need to make that jump, and it's going to take us to get close to preseason and through preseason to find out who is going to make the final cut. All right, and then I'm going to give you some hot takes, and then we're going to do a quick question and answer on the way out. And before we do that, we're going to do some shout outs to some of the folks that'll be on the show, and some folks hopefully will get on the show very, very soon. All right, so you got the June 1st. Before the evening got started, the Cleveland Browns just traded Myles freaking Garrett, all right, to the Los Angeles Rams. That was for 2 first-round picks and Jared Verse. I guess that works to get the best defensive player on the planet to change teams. And then I guess somewhere in Frisco, Jerry Jones might not was available on the flip phone. But, hey, man, I'm not going to be on Jerry. Jerry did a good job with what he done with the team so far. All right, so that was one of the biggest dominoes to fall in the offseason so far. And then once again, like I said, Dallas probably didn't feel the need, man. So I don't know if they picked the phone up and called. I guess you'll hear some things about that. We're gonna break it down though. We're gonna talk about the whole landscape, not just the Garrett blockbuster, but we're gonna talk about some top free agents that's still out there that Dallas can possibly call and check in on to see if we can get them in there. Coach Shoddy with the OTAs, what Christian Parker and the new defensive look will look like again this season. And then I'm gonna give you some hot takes, man, to light up the timeline. So grab your coffee over something strong, and it's the late night edition, babe. So we're gonna get it on. All right. For those out there that don't really understand what June 1st means as far as the calendar and what it means to NFL teams in layman terms, I'm gonna break it down for you. So it's a quick economic lesson for those out there. But all it comes down to is teams just make cuts or trade players before June 1st or that little period. It's all of their dead cap money being accelerated into the current year. So after June 1st, that dead money is split across 2 years. So each team gets to designate up to 2 players as post June 1st cuts, and then that advances so that they can plan around it. Now, suddenly, teams that were broke may have millions to spend after June 1st. So it's important to the teams who want to move those big contracts and then waiting for the exact right situation to make that happen. All right. So that brings us to the bombshell that happened today with Cleveland. All right. So Cleveland waited after they said that they wasn't going to trade him. But again, we know that's bull crap these days because folks always saying what they're not going to do and then turn around and do it. So they waited to June 1st to send shockwaves through the league. Myles Garrett, one of the best edge rushers in the game. All right. Fresh off another defensive player of the year caliber type season, is now in the Los Angeles Rams. So they was already strong and already was picked as Super Bowl contenders. Guess this makes them the favorites now. So everybody going to be chasing them. All right. So with that package, they sent edge rusher Jared Verse and a 2027 first round pick and a 2028 second and a 2029 third. The Browns save over $8 million against the cap by doing this. They had already signed a new contract with him and got that number down already anyway. That's what made him tradable. All right, so you're looking at certain things, and I'm not saying that it couldn't be matched. Those 3 picks couldn't be matched by any team. If I wouldn't want Dallas to do that. So that's out of the question. I'm not even worried about that. But I guess you got to ask the question, would other teams or which teams was in there? Was it just the LA Rams? Because that's all you heard the day before going into today is that they were one of the teams that was going to make that happen. So I'm surprised that it's just one team trying to make a deal like that. Now, again, the Rams that did this before, and then they had went all in with some players, Ramsey, and brought some players in and traded away some picks and stuff like that. And it seemed like they still they didn't have like a real down year, even going back into those years where they kind of went all in and you thought they would kind of, would have fell off for a while, but they didn't. You know what I'm saying? They sustained and sustained at a high level. I guess you're going to do that when you got a quarterback like Matt Stafford and you got some folks around him and draft well and then, still be able to maintain and compete at a high level. The coaching staff down there, McVay, and his coaching staff, man, they really put some nice game plans together, and they coach people up too. So I guess they can afford to when you got a coaching staff like that. And Dallas is building the same thing like that now. And drafting, they always draft well, so that's never been an issue. All right, so with that being said, does that hurt the Cowboys? Are the Rams now loaded? You can kind of look at Aaron Donald and the lineage there, and you get another player like Myles Garrett who is similar to Aaron Donald. And so you said, and if NFC West just goes to them overnight, is that the scenario? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, other notable moves around the league. Aaron Rodgers got his tender from Pittsburgh. Yeah, multiple players circling and trying to see if Stephon Diggs will be back in New England. You had the other big trade, but it was silenced because of how big the Rams and Garrett trade was. You had A.J. Brown now being traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the New England Patriots. So, you get the quarterback getting the type of wide receiver he needs, so he get his A receiver, and then the receiver that he had last year that, played good can now um, go right into that role as a number 2 and then see what that does as far as, how well will the leap be, for New England this year now that you got A.J. Brown there and you can pick up where you left off last year. Again, don't know if that's going to help the offensive line. Got to look at their draft and see if they address the offensive line because that was a glaring weakness in the Super Bowl. So if they do those things, draft and get protection up there, and then maybe kind of have some other players kind of make impact in a way where if it ain't even on starting, maybe those players can work for special teams and then, find a way to contribute in other ways to the team from there. But you had that. You still got Taylor Decker out there, man. So I think somebody, man, it'd be worth their while to try to get that man in there as well. 10 years in Detroit, still one of the top offensive tackles in the league on the market. And then you still got a talent pool that's deep, and we're gonna talk about that as well. So the league wasn't waiting around, man. You had some moves that still need to be verified. And so with tonight or today, early today, most of that stuff happening with the blockbuster trades, like I said, with Garrett going to the Rams, and then you had the other trade that was expected for A.J. Brown going to New England. What's out there? All right, so you want to look at what's out there. So Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he got his tender. So still, even at his age, you still get the little saga stuff with him, but he was able to get his tender, and the Steelers retained his rights. Trayvon Diggs is another one who was released. He's unsigned free agent, and former first team All Pro. 2 teams cut him in the last year, though, so that's not good. Pickens signed his franchise tender, $27.3 million, and that's for 1 year. So it's a 1 year. See if you can get long-term deal done. And I think if he go and ball out, the Joneses will take care, and they always do. They was able to re-sign Javonte Williams, 3 years, $24 million. So that's solid running back 1. Not a star, but he's reliable and very good in his role. So, and then Dallas went on to sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling. All right, they signed him to a 1 year deal. So he can stretch the field, play behind CD, and you get him at the veterans minimum, so that don't hurt you. Dallas also signed Jalen Thompson to a multi-year deal. That's a real upgrade in a safety room. Probably one of the best signings the Cowboys had did. Also signed Kobe Durant, signed him to a 1 year deal. That's your slot nickel corner. Decent filler for someone filling in since Trayvon is gone. Sam Williams, that's a question, right? Trade out, late pick, add some depth. You don't really need him. I guess he's expendable now. I was disappointed in him. I thought he was going to have a big year last year, wind up in a bigger role, doing less than he did than the years before when he was coming in trying to get some snaps and things. All right, Solomon Thomas, they traded out. You got a 7-7 swap for him, so that was just a shuffle of, just getting picks or whatever. All right. So sidebar, you say what did the Cowboys do? Jalen Thompson, real good safety. Javonte Williams gives you a competitive running back 1. Tyler Smith got his extension last year. The bad is that franchise tagging Pickens instead of locking him up, and then we let Jadeveon Clowney walk, and he had 8.5 sacks with us in like half a year, and so he's still unsigned. Delvin Wilson, he's out there unsigned. I guess the ugly is what? No splash signings. Not really tripping off that. No edge rusher can replace Parsons' production. We ain't worried about that either. That's some old stuff. So you watch Cleveland trade Myles Garrett, and then I guess some people might be saying, why are we gonna do it? Man, think long term, man. Think glass half full. We did a lot in the off season. I don't think you need to go out there. Dallas tried that with Hendricks, and didn't really work out. So and then you see teams like the Ravens switch it up real quick. They couldn't get them. So they went on and went a different direction. All right. And they did that real quick. All right. So with that being said, what's out there? You might be asking, right? All right. I'm going to tell you what's out there. And I'm going to tell you if they're a good fit or not, too, for the Cowboys. All right. You got Jawan Jennings, wide receiver out there, 29, age 29. Last team he was on was San Francisco. Is he a good fit? I think yes. One, he's tough, physical type, possession type wide receiver. If you had him as your wide receiver 3 behind CD and Pickens, you have a strong core. But I believe we got a nice core and some young players that's going to step up this year as well. Flournoy, I think he's going to step right in the role that he did last year as far as having opportunity. He made the best of it. So I think if he just beat him and keep improving, definitely be a good thing. The offensive tackle, Taylor Decker, 32 years of age, played in Detroit. And could he be a good fit? Maybe. All right. I think he'd be a good fit as insurance behind a player like Tyler Guyton if they wanted to do that. But the only difference is it's going to cost you to get him. So I think if it's going to cost you, we got some players that we drafted and some players that was on the roster last year that I could think come in and show flashes and ability to be able to do the job. I don't think you got to spend a whole lot of money there. We should be good there. We drafted good and players been developing on that side of the ball last year and going into this year OTAs and then training camp you should see some significant improvement on the offensive line going forward anyway. That's one of the strengths of the unit of the team anyway. Stephon Diggs, 32, played good for New England last year. Not in the Super Bowl, but he did play good for the most part with them. He a diva risk, you know that. You already got Pickens, so I don't know if you want to have Pickens on that 1 year and then have the receiving room filled with a little juice that maybe don't need to be there. So I think I say a no on that one. Maybe last year, if you was thinking about doing it, made sense last year, not this year. Joey Bosa, edge, 31, played for Buffalo last year. I think he'll be a good fit. He had 5 sacks. I think he was hurt a little bit last year, but when he came back, he had a good showing, showed some good ability still. You can use him as a rotational rusher if you wanted to bring him in, and you will fill a need as well. Joe, what's the man? Joe Bettino. He's a guard, 34, played for Cleveland. I say he'd be a good fit for us. The man had a 96.4% class block win rate. All right, so for a veteran, that'd be an upgrade for the interior lineman. I believe he got Pro Bowl pedigree in him as well. Deebo Samuels, wide receiver, 30, last play for Washington. I don't think you need to bring Deebo in. I don't know. I guess if you wanted to kick the tires on him, see where his mindset was coming in, but he stayed too injured for me. So I'd probably do a hard pass on that one and say, nah. Plus, he played for the Commanders last year. So I don't know. I think you just move on from him. You see, if the Skins moved on from him, then I don't think we should pick him up as well. Now, this is a play I really like. Cameron Jordan, age 37. Kind of up there, long in the tooth. Played for New Orleans, but last year, all right, he had 10.5 sacks. Get him in there as a rotational piece. He good against the run. Get him on the cheap. Hello, it's Mr. Jordan. You definitely that'll be a definitely good move for us. Jadeveon Clowney, man. Edge 33, played for us last year. You see what he did when he came in. I'd re-sign him. He had 8.5 sacks for us in half a year. Still unsigned. I think you can bring him in. I guess if he's one of them type of players that, still around the players and still around the organization, letting them know he might want to come back and play for a year. Just probably don't want to go through the grind of OTAs and training camp. Bring him on there, man. Sign him on the cheap. Give him a roster bonus if he hit certain things, incentives and stuff. I think that'll be good for re-signing him. Here's another player, Bobby Wagner. He called the defense for them last year. I bring him back. He was 6 in tackles last season as linebacker. And he got that veteran leadership, man, that could help Christian Parker with calling his defensive scheme or whatever. DJ Reader, defensive tackle, he's 32, played for the Detroit Lions last year. I say yes on him. He's 6'3", 330. All right, interior ankle. I call him. If you can get him on the cheap, 1 year deal or something, bring him in, man. That's more rotational pieces on that middle, man. Give Kenny Clark and give Quinny Williams a rest sometimes. All right, I call him. Donovan, all right, safety, 31, played for us last year. I re-signed him, man. He a box safety, man. Tone setter. He had 71 tackles last year, 2 interceptions. Those solid numbers, man. I bring him back. I love him. I ain't gonna hold you. I love him as a tone setter. He leave it all out there on the field. I talked about him last podcast. He's a player that makes no excuses and leave it all out there. Trayvon Diggs, that's an easy no for me. All right, I ain't even going into detail on that, but that's a no. All right. Russell Wilson, hell no. All right. I ain't going to say that's a hard no. That's a hell no. All right. So let's look at it. Who should they sign? Who will they sign? All right, Jadeveon Clowney, they should sign him. I already told you, 8.5 sacks in a year where he didn't even play a whole year at all. Nowhere near a whole year. So, again, I wouldn't let him walk. All right, I definitely try to get him in there. Don't be surprised, too. A player like Donovan Wilson don't get re-signed. Comes in, you back up on the cheap. Jerry loves, familiar faces anyway. Sign him for a 1 year deal on the cheap. Bring him back. DJ Reader, he'll be a good fit, man. Like I said, an anchor to stop that run. He is that guy, man. That guy in the middle, man. He can stop that running and free up some of the linebackers. I bring him in on a 1 year deal. Joey Bosa, bring him in 1 year on a prove-it deal. Pair him with Clowney, another rotational you can get on the cheap, and have your ears run by committee. All right, with experienced players that show that they can still make an impact. Bobby Wagner, like I said, another person. You need that. First time Christian going to be calling the plays, having Wagner on the field would be like a coach. So that'll be a plus for you. Late camps for free agency, whoever gets cut, man, for a contender late in July will be a bargain. So that's for folks that like bargain bin shopping. I don't think Dallas did that this year, though. They didn't do no bargain bin shopping, but they can still do it. I just showed you the players that I would do it for and the ones that I would not, hard hell no. All right. then you value pass rushers, right? So names like Cameron Jordan, maybe Hassan Reddick, maybe. All right, nothing splashy. We don't do splashy at this time. When it comes to June, splash is out. You got splash today from Garrett, but that was via trade. All right, so priority right now, the way I look at it, should be edge rusher. All right, second should be interior defensive line. Some folks will say linebacker depth. I had that at 4. 3 cornerback. I think he's good with cornerback. All right. I think, honestly speaking, I think he's gonna be good there. Again, I talked about and when I said D line, I meant offensive line. I'm sorry, offensive line depth. So you need to have some folks maybe if you can get a good one. And again, it's depending on how far the offensive line folks that we had last year, who got a lot of shine last year until the offensive line got healthy. So you might want to have like a swing tackle policy in place for someone in case somebody get hurt. And then again, veteran leadership in the linebacker room. Overshown, man, he's a young star. If you pair him with somebody like Bobby Wagner, and then some of the other pieces that we picked up, in free agency, my man from I think it's D Winters from San Francisco. I believe he's gonna step in and do a good job. And then we playing a different scheme, so you can scheme some stuff up with pressure and scheme some stuff up with better coverage with that linebacker core. So that's what I would do. All right, things that stand out. All right, I gotta give shout outs. Things that stand out. Just gonna talk about Shotty's second year, man. Christian Parker building the defense from scratch, OTAs all month. You get some real tape and real reports on what's going on in Dallas with the draft, people that they drafted, and the players that they drafted, that either some players that were hurt, now healthy. See what they doing, man. A year of health behind them in this new defense. See what that does. George Pickens, man, getting them in camp. That's the most important thing right there for that in the offense. Is you want to be able to build on what Shotty did last year. Got to get CD and Pickens both in there to put the work in, man, so that they can hit the ground running. Jalen Thompson, like I said, he was our big splash. He got range, instinct, communication. He already runs all the checks. He is that good signing that we did. He's a vet, 5-year vet that'll fit right in Christian Parker defense, and then you pair him with the young horse, the young bull, Caleb Downs, DeMarvian Overshown, man, flying around like he do, man. Heat seeking missile. If he can stay healthy, man, he a Pro Bowl candidate. I seen it that year he got hurt. Tyler Guyton, man, he's slimmer, more nimble. Folks thought he was joking. I'm gonna show you some video I really, really like from one of the other outlets that does a good job with content for Cowboys Nation. We're gonna spotlight that shortly in the show. And then he was able to sign Javonte Williams, man. He looked like that same guy in Denver. Vision, contact balance, fresh legs. Don't sleep on him. I think he'll have another good year. All right. Quarterback run. You know what you're getting with Dak Prescott. Sharp, decisive, throwing anticipation. Took a restructure to keep the team together. Year 2 of the Shotty offense. Installing the second nature now to him. Cap hit is enormous still. So the pressure always going to be real for that. I'm gonna actually put some stuff together for that, man, to kind of do a deep dive. You'll be surprised at his stats and where he stack up with some Hall of Famers. All right. Again, QB2 is the battle, man. That's wide open. So it's just saying whoever wins that and pray that stay healthy and upright.
808 thump. Hey, lead nation. If you ain't following yet, what we doing? It's the Star Treatment, where Big D's new era get the royal welcome. Hit that follow button at the Star Treat DC. THE Star Treat DC. Again, that's at the Star Treat DC. Drop a star in the comments, slide in the DMs. Tell a friend to tell a friend we moving as a team. Godchild signing on. Stay royal. Elite Nation.
Again, offensive installation for second year for Shotty. More pre-snap motion, more 12 personnel, RPO friendly. With Pickens and Lamb, you can get explosive plays right there. Should that be the case? Now, here's the important part of what I think is going to be the telling tape on how good the Cowboys going to be this year, and that's the defensive scheme under Christian Parker. All right, so this is first time being a defense coordinator, but I got so much confidence in him. He's 34-year-old. Came for the Broncos. Used to be their secondary coach. The word was out in Frisco as far as how his installation is going. Hey, he's teaching from the ground up, man, so it's going to take a little longer as far as installation, but I believe he's going to be able to install stuff real quick. He said it himself. They're going to be multiple, so you might have more man-to-man, you might have more zone, you might have more disguised coverages, and then you had less of the predictability that we dealt with Eberflus, where the defense just was so predictable, man. It's like nobody knew where the lineup set, move, at Tampa 2, bend but don't break stuff. I never liked that. It work in Madden, but it don't work in real life. All right, not in these days and times. Again, being able to have get multiple pressure, more blitz packages, more responsibilities. I talked to him about or listened to him talk about the Cowboys being more multiple, being able to have players be more cerebral. Those are things I haven't heard my whole time. Being a Cowboy fan, you probably had to go back to when Parcells was here. Some red flags, no edge rusher replacement. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I probably need Sam Williams to step up. Definitely. Earn your money. If not, get some folks in here that did earn their money last year. Or some folks that are capable. George Pickens, let's get him long time, man. Let's stop playing around with that. If he ball out, don't even waste time with it. Get him signed up. Christian Parker, seeing the learning curve, man. Seeing he is promising, and I do believe that he's gonna be that dude. All right, but again, this is first year calling a defense, so you want to see how the learning curve go for him and the team. Mike Hennessy is solid, man. And as far as interior, the interior behind Tyler Smith and Cooper Beebe. So is it a concern? I'm not concerned with the interior line offensively, but we're going to get tested in the early part of the season. Definitely Christian Parker defense is. So Shotty has to support him with how he going to call some games, man, to maybe – try to get some leads and then allow that defense to, kind of get into understanding what they're trying to do each game and be disciplined in those things. Again, being multiple, being able to shut folks down in different ways, being able to dictate to teams instead of letting teams dictate to you. All right. Hot take I give you. I believe Dallas gonna sign Jadeveon Clowney before training camp, man. So that's my hot take, man. 8.5 sacks in half a season. Came in, looked at like one of the fresher edge rushers for the team, and he the veteran. All right, so did we cover everything? We sure did. We covered everything. All right, so Now what I'm gonna do is I wanted to get into some folks that's gonna be on the show soon. And I wanted to kind of give them their due on the show. I believe it's always the best homage for when you got your own platform and you show people love on your platform. It's not something that you do just because you trying to get something from them, an interview, blah, blah, blah. These folks I reached out to, but I've been watching their content for a while and, love what they do at what they do. And just wanted the opportunity to, one, show support, show love and real support by allowing them to understand not only I'm going to share my platform to always big up folks in the industry that's been doing what I've been doing before I've been doing it, but I've been doing this podcast stuff for a long time. It's just doing it in a sense of being dedicated to the Cowboys. I thought it'd be a good transition for me because I've been a lifelong Cowboy fan. So why not spend some extra time to do some deep diving and digging like I do in any way, talking about them like I did on my other podcast, Give and Take Sports Talk, but dedicated now here on the Star Treatment. All right, so the first person I want to show some love to is someone that is going to be on the show soon. Got an interview with him soon, and I'm going to be posting information about that. That's my man down there with Cowboys Beats talking about the A.J. Brown trade.
The Cowboys should be the favorites to win the NFC East after the Eagles traded A.J. Brown. Look, A.J. Brown just got traded to the New England Patriots, and I think that this is great news for the Cowboys because having to deal with A.J. Brown twice a year was not a fun experience. That guy is one of the best receivers in football. I've been saying this for years now. I don't care if I root for the Cowboys. This guy is an outstanding football player, and the fact that you don't have to play him anymore is a very, very good thing. Obviously, they made some additions at wide receiver, and I really like Mekhi Lemon. I think he's going to be a good player in the NFL. Dontavian Wicks is also a very good addition for them. So they are still going to have a formidable wide receiver room, but having A.J. Brown to throw the football to is a flat-out cheat code. And the fact that they don't have that anymore, that is going to make their offense worse. I don't know how much worse, just because of the fact that I think they did a really good job acquiring talent at the wide receiver position. But when you look at what the Cowboys have done on the defensive side of the ball, I think they have improved that unit. I think that when you look at the Cowboys and the Eagles needed to improve offensively. I think they made steps to improve, but they did take a step back from the standpoint of A.J. Brown's a really, really good football player. And I think the Cowboys defense, I think they did a lot of things to improve. I don't really see any type of regression coming from that defense in any area of the field. I think they got better everywhere on all three levels of the field, personnel-wise, and from a coaching staff perspective. So I think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East this year, and not having to deal with A.J. Brown, I absolutely love that.
So I feel the same exact way. All right, shout outs to my man there on Cowboys Beats, giving you that good information, man, on what that means for us. I think we're going to win the division now. Now, granted, you still got to deal with an improved New York Giants team and an improved Washington Redskins team. I don't call them Commanders. I'm sorry. But those two teams will be improved. So let's see what we do week one with the Giants and then see what we do week two with the Redskins. So it's back-to-back games where we'll see what we looking like early on against division rivals. That'd be two quick tests out the box for that. But definitely, man, A.J. Brown not being there, that's another thing you don't have to worry about on defense now. And again, Lemon is a good wide receiver, but he hasn't touched the field yet to see what he'll do in his first year. And I always say it takes about 3 years, man, for receivers to make an impact, man, to get the route tree down, have that confidence in themselves, because, they divas. So if things ain't going right with them early in their career, they struggle. So we're going to see what that does. Again, who going to be the number one? Is it going to be Smith? again, I think there's ways you can take him away on defense. So that's going to force everybody else to manufacture first downs and drives and stuff like that. And again, like I said, if they don't fix that middle, you know your man don't like throwing down the seam. So not having A.J. Brown there to take the top off and run them routes like he do, I think that's going to hurt them, man, especially with some of the coaches not being back and players retiring and players leaving for free agency. I think that's going to hurt them. So I think they're going to be one of the teams that take a step back. Here's another person that we're going to have on the show very soon. It's my man JV, all right, from the JV show, man. His take on the NFC East.
My take is that the Dallas Cowboys win 13 games and finish first in their division.
I love the Cowboys in 2026 for so many different reasons. Number one, this offense could easily be the best in the league next season. They've got 2 number 1 receivers, a great quarterback, a good run game with great protection up front. Plus, this defense can't get any worse than ranked 32nd last year. Upgrades to the secondary and their front 7 should make them a top 20 defense, especially with a new defensive coordinator. The Cowboys and Dak specifically has so much to gain from a playoff run that if they catch fire early, like they did around Thanksgiving last season, they could take off with this division.
All right, so that's my man JV from the JV show, who we're going to have on the show very soon, talking about his take on the Cowboys winning the NFC East. Again, I said that I believe that will happen. It has to happen for them to be contenders to win a Super Bowl with all the transition that has happened since early last season, mid part of the season last year to the off season, and drafting very well. That has to reap benefits with bringing in a defensive coordinator that knows his stuff, coaching staff that's going to coach players up, not only to be better players, but to be cerebral and multiple as well. All right. Somebody else I want to give shout outs to, my man RJ Ochoa, man. I love him. I've been watching him on Blogging Boys. His journalism and content, man, is second to none, man. So he's going to be another special guest on the show coming soon, and we're going to put that information out there. Again, make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow us at The Star Treat DC, okay? Again, The Star Treatment Podcast, everything elite about the Dallas Cowboys and more. Follow us as we live stream, which we're doing now on the late night edition. We're going to be doing this late night sometime, man, to get some shows in and stack as well. And you can interact with us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X at The Star Treat DC. Help us grow by liking, sharing, and interacting with us everywhere. And you can even jump in the live chat right now and be heard. All right. This is my man RJ Ochoa talking about winning close games and how Dallas struggled with that last season, and that's probably why they didn't make the playoffs.
When it comes to the NFL, there is one type of game that is very, very, very important to have a lot of success in, and that is a one-possession game. Last season, the Dallas Cowboys played in 7 games that were ultimately decided by one possession. Now, it's important to note that sometimes games are out of hand and ultimately look like they were decided by one possession, but they were not necessarily that way through the whole thing. The Cowboys went 3-3-1 in one-possession games last year, but I would look at the loss against Minnesota as an example, where Dallas wasn't necessarily really in that game, or the win against Washington as another one where Dallas was comfortably ahead for most of it, so I'm willing to throw those 2 away. I also think it's fair to note that while we all really enjoyed the Cowboys win against the Eagles, that Philadelphia was up 21-0 in that game. And that's not a game that you should win, right? Like, that's not a game that is generally going to go your way 9 times out of 10. It was a game that the Cowboys rallied and played very well in after falling into a deep hole. But you get my point that you can't count on those things happening year in and year out. I think the games that really bother me looking back on them were the season opening loss to the Eagles, the tie against the Packers, and the loss to the Carolina Panthers. If the Cowboys played some cleaner football in those games, then you could argue they maybe have 3 more wins, and they finished the season in a very different situation relative to how they ultimately did in reality. This is going to be a critical area where the Cowboys have to succeed in 2026. In a perfect world, you win more games of one possession variety than you don't. They went 500 last year, and that's obviously not terrible, but again, this is something that we want to see improve next season.
All right, RJ Achor, appreciate you with the feedback as well. If you look at some of the things he said, there's three things that I want to highlight on there that he talked about as far as close games. So we remember how that first game went with Philly. We should have beat them because we actually had dropped 2 touchdowns in that game, had a big penalty, brought another one back, and then CD went with the dropsies in the fourth quarter that cost us that game. The Green Bay game, we actually should have had an interception in the end zone, which, we bobbled or didn't get a chance to get our hands on. And then that landed with 1 second left, and they wound up beating us with 1 second left in the game. All right, so had we made a stop in that game, we would have won that game. And then the Carolina game just was like one of those games that you have those type of games, I guess, once in a season. You shouldn't have multiple games like that, but it seemed like that's how the season went last year, with some games that we should have been in and some games we shouldn't have been in, some games we should have lost, and some games that we came back and won that we weren't in. So, granted, like you said, those 3 games were games that I think determined why we didn't make the playoffs down the stretch, because that Carolina game kind of stood out as we went down the stretch and couldn't put them wins together at the end. And then we wound up, I believe, losing real bad to the Giants. So those are games that you look at. I think it was that game and the Commanders game. Those games, we weren't going to make the playoffs, and then we went into those games playing like a team that was ready to pack it in. So RJ was definitely on point with how close sometimes it is in the games. They say it all the time. Winning and losing in the NFL, it really comes down to inches and seconds sometimes. And he was very articulate with that. All right, the next person we're going to have up is a person that I really want to get on the show as well, and that's my man, Attack on Cowboys, talking about Tyler Gateman. I really like this post, man.
It was all fun and games when he was out there shadow boxing in the rain, huh? Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And in this case, the rabbit is a 6'7", 322-pound left tackle that happens to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton. Hold on, man. It's a real YN party, and we had to suit up for our guy TG, because that man came out there and mollywopped the Eagles' defensive end with all the strength from his ancestors gathered into one big-ass fist. Real talk. I don't know what Tyler Guyton was thinking about. That man must have had flashbacks or something horrific or something, because he reached all the way back into his past and punched through whatever walls was standing in front of him for being successful. This the type of energy we like to see TG. TG hit that man with the one-for-all. Old looking ass. Old Super Smash Bros. Falcon Pond looking ass. That Philly defender's ears probably still ringing to this day. Matter of fact, Tyler Guyton's new nickname is the Day After Pill, because anytime that big-ass dude smack you like that, your head gonna still be ringing the day after. Somebody get bruh some ibuprofen. And TG, hey, that's what we like to see. Be sure to follow for more Dallas Cowboys content and subscribe to Attack on Cowboys YouTube channel for full episodes.
That's what's up, man. Subscribe to Attack on Cowboys, man. I love my man. All his content be A1, man. So shout outs to him, man. Like he said, TG, that's what we like to see, baby. That man has so much energy, man, and passion about what he do, man. We really love him here at the Star Treatment, and we want to get him on the show very soon, too, as well, all right? My last one is somebody that's always a guest on his show. All right, he's a guest on a lot of platforms, man, that's dealing with everything Cowboys. And that's my man, Foots the King, man. Shout out to you. We want to get you on the show as well. But this him doing something that I did last week, just talking about the new look defense and what to expect coming into this year.
They want to build a ball. They want to walk it back. They're not long are the days where you need a guy to get 15 sacks. Now, if you want to point to the pressures, if you want to point to a guy who has a fastball And, you could look at a guy who was supposed to be that for us last year and not Dorrance Armstrong, but what's my boy's name?
Fowler.
He was with that. Fowler. He was a high sack guy, numbers out the roof, comes to Dallas, was terrible against the run, couldn't get to the quarterback. Yeah, super volatile, right? Cool. I want sacks as much as anybody else. I want pressures as much as anybody else, but I don't want them at the expense of the defense. I don't want them at the expense of the run game and the run defense. And I think that's what the Cowboys are trying to get through everybody's head. We're not going to be a team that just plays up field on every down. This is no longer, rush the quarterback and stop the run on the way. That's not what we want to do. We also have a play caller now. We also have a guy who, let's take a trip back and then I'll get back on schedule. But I've been wanting to get this on my chest, and I'm glad you give me the platform.
You need some salt peppers? Hey,
give me some seasoning oil. Give me some Tony Stash. Come on now.
Got you, man.
AOC, when we had Dan Quinn was heavy cover 1, heavy cover 3, and play hard, run to the ball, and depend on turnovers. That's his business model, right? And it works. Year 1, year 2, everybody's flying around. You're punching at the ball. But then once teams start to catch on, is he a great play caller? Is he a guy who can make teams play left-handed? We're leaning more into that Mike McDonald role. Now, obviously, Christian Parker has to go out there and do it, but that's who he is. He's a schemer. He's a play designer. On defense,
I'm
AOC.
so glad you said we're leaning down the Mike McDonald road. Because I said this. I said, it's very clear. Those of y'all talk about, same old Cowboys. They are literally doing the exact thing y'all been begging them to do. They are following the Seattle Seahawks, Philadelphia Eagle blueprint for building a defense, bro. Strong interior lines, playmakers on the back end who going to make a play on the ball while it's in the air.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. And the Eagles defense, when they won that Super Bowl, the biggest name they had was Jalen Carter, and he was not an established superstar yet.
Yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks, who's their biggest name on that defense right now? Probably most of y'all can't tell me right now. Most of y'all still can't tell me who's the biggest name player on that defense.
Who had the most sacks on that defense?
Nobody knows. Did they even have a 10-sack guy? I don't know.
I'll do you one better. New England just let probably their best edge go on Caleb on Chason. You think they're crying?
Everyone's figuring it out, Foots. You don't win with edge splash plays, bro. You just don't. That's like running down the court in the NBA and shooting threes every single time. That's what it's like having a one-trick pony pass rusher out there where you're just dependent on a guy getting sacks. Sack. No. You play fundamental defense. Like you say, you build a wall of grown-ass, strong-ass men that understand which gap they're supposed to be taking their assignments, and they can walk guys back, close the damn pocket in, force quarterbacks into making tougher throws. Yeah. That's the only thing. You shouldn't be relying on getting sacks. You should be able to make quarterbacks make NFL throws on a consistent basis. When they're able to just drop back and play pitch and catch, that's where we get into an issue with the Cowboys. That's when we get into an issue. So what you do is you build, like you say, you build that wall up front, and you get guys like Jalen Thompson. You get guys like PJ Locke.
Hey, nothing but knowledge there, man. Speaking the truth, man. So shout outs to my man on at Attack on Cowboys and then Foots the King, man. Hey, dropping gems, man. Hey, like he said, no more just one-trick ponies rushing the quarterback and hoping you stop the run on the way. Nah, man. You got to affect the run on the way to affecting the quarterback in the pocket, man. So, again, I seen a lot of that blown up with Kenny Murray and folks not being in gaps and getting pushed back 10 and 15 yards before they even get to touch the running back and letting containment go because you ain't decisive. Like, I seen too much of that last year. Folks running through holes in the pass game. You know, Eberflus never made any coaching changes at all, man. He coached the defense like he was scared. So, again, man, I don't know, man. I felt we had good players at good positions. He even took some players off the field I like. That's why I can't wait to see Maris Leofau this year, man, and see with him in that scheme with Christian Parker. I can't wait to see what type of player he be. Overshown. I can't wait to see what type of player he is, man. I can't wait to see what type of player Quinny and Kenny Clark and the new signee from the San Diego Chargers, the young players, Downs, the linebackers that's going to be in the scheme this year, and the edge rusher on the scheme this year, and that back end with Thompson. And I can't wait, man. I think, like I said, all you need to do is sign, player like Jadeveon Clowney back, and let's get Donovan Wilson back in as an enforcer, man, solid tackler, playing that box, man. You need players, man. You need players that, like he said, can be multiple, and I believe that's where we're gonna be. All right, I got about less than a minute left in the show. Again, I want to send shout outs again to Cowboys Beat. Go follow them at Cowboys Beat. Make sure you follow my man JV at the JV Show. Make sure you follow my man Attack on Cowboys at Attack on Cowboys. Make sure you follow RJ Ochoa at RJ Ochoa, and my man Foots the King at Foots the King. All right, these are folks that's going to be on the show soon, and folks that I hope will be on the show very soon. Had to show all of them love because I actually watch them a lot of times as I watch some of these other shows and outlets that not only speak about the Cowboys, but you got to have the media with shows like Get Up, and I watch a little bit of First Take, not that much though. I try to fast forward through some of the nonsense that you get from Stephen A. Love him at times, hate him at other times. But we try to reach out and get folks on here that are passionate about the Cowboys, because we passionate about the Cowboys here on the Star Treatment. All right. Again, make sure you follow us. We live streaming now on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter X. And follow us at the Star Treat DC. Help us grow by liking, sharing, and interacting with us everywhere we are. And you also can jump in the live chat, which we're live right now, and be heard and get shout outs as well. All right, we're going to get on out of here. Again, this was the late night edition, which we're going to be doing that. All right, so look for a post and some cut ups from the show that we did today. And we're going to get on out of here. All right. Just want to give you some information so we can get on out of here. And then, like I said, y'all take it easy.
Welcome to the Star Treatment, the elite Dallas Cowboys podcast. I am your host, God's Child. Follow us everywhere at the Star Treat DC.
Follow us everywhere at the Star Treat DC. And that is follow your new platform for elite coverage of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. That's right. Get that Star Treatment. This is the Star Treatment, elite coverage of America's team. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Ooh, yeah. City breathing after dark, leaving our exclusive mark. Tune in for the final scene. Yeah, you know just what I mean. The Star Treatment, late night edition. Ooh, yeah. City breathing after dark, leaving our exclusive mark. Tune in for the final scene. Yeah, you know just what I mean. The Star Treatment, late night edition.
That's a wrap on another episode. Lead Nation, the Star Treatment, the only Cowboys podcast to talk to you. Not at ya. From Shotty Standard to CP's defense, from Dak and the A1s to dogs in the trenches. We covered it all, we broke it all down. Big D's new era, the royal welcome in town. But the show don't stop when the mic go off. We keep the movement alive across every platform. Follow us at the Star Treat DC, THE Star Treat DC. Again, that's at the Star Treat DC. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the whole thing. Tap in with the family. Hit a bell ring until next week. Stay royal, elite nation. Godchild out, the star treatment, baby.